Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2 p.m. social race here with MOR Esports. My name is Jack, I am your commentator, and you join us for the Canadian Grand Prix. Let me just load up our TikTok and our Twitch to make sure I can see all of you beautiful people in the chat. We've got RLO, we've got Boxing Dog, and we've got Alcada in the TikTok chat. Let's load up the Twitch as well to make sure we're not missing any chats anywhere. And we are all ready then for the Canadian Grand Prix. The drivers readying up, getting ready for our one-shot qualifying. We've got Griff in the chat as well. Welcome in, Griff. Good to see you as always. As one-shot qualifying will begin then. And we have, again, got some big names. Aspect, probably the bigger of the people in this session. We've got Ben Dearman as well. We've, of course, got Sander, who has already retired from the session and will not be setting a valid lap time in this session. Aspect looks like he might have invalidated as well. Let's get the track map enabled, and he has invalidated. Aspect into the barriers. So really all of our quick drivers are invalidating, besides Jamero, who I believe made his debut in the Monza race at 12 p.m. Jamero now invalidates as well. Everyone struggling a lot. It's CB that's currently on provisional pole. And CB, we know, not normally confident in qualifying, but currently running in provisional pole position. Just needs to keep it on the road through the final chicane. And CB could be taking pole position here. He's done exactly that. CB driving for the line then. And it is CB who is on pole position. Eraox in 12th place with V1 Aviation in 3rd. Prancing Horses 4th with Gamer Low getting disqualified as well. So it's going to be Gamer that finishes 5th. Ben Dearman and Aspect 6th and 7th after invalidating, I think, down at turn 1. So this is going to be a very interesting race, it must be said. But it's CB that will start on pole position. We've got Era in 2nd with V1 Aviation in 3rd, Prancing Horse and Ben Dearman. A bit of a crazy one-shot qualifying, it must be said. I imagine the race is probably going to be quite chaotic. The Canadian Grand Prix is up next. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. The lights ahead of the drivers and we can go racing for the Canadian Grand Prix. CB does get away well from pole position. Era trying to challenge into turn 1, as that is Ben Dearman in turn 1, getting all alongside his teammate. Ben Dearman trying to take the lead from CB, is not able to do so. Let's get all our telemetry enabled. Ben Dearman already up 3 places. Prancing Horse running in third. We've got Aspect in fourth as Gamer Low retires on track. That is an odd retirement, it must be said, as it's the 2 McLarens that lead then. A McLaren 1-2 here in Canada. CB from Ben Dearman. It's then Prancing Horse in third place. Ben getting very racy on the rear end of his teammate. We've got Lewis in fourth with Aspect in fifth place. TTV Kian running in, well, it was sixth, but Sander looking to try and take that away from him. Who's got the better straight line speed as we make our way down towards the final chicane? It looks like it is going to be Sander, who also has the inside line as well. And Sander moves up into sixth place. Lewis gets through on the Ferrari. Is that its contact in the background? And that's Jamero that I believe got wheel locked. I want to say with Kian or with Alcada. And Jamero into the barriers or into the pit wall. And has got big damage. Lewis already up 6 places. He's our big gainer. Error down to 8th place. V1 Aviation down to 10th as the penalties already start flying in. We know the track limit's not easy around this track. And it's very difficult, it must be said, to keep the car on the black stuff. Look at how much battery Ben Dearman is saving. He is right behind CB. This Prancing Horse has fallen behind Sander as well. Into the hairpin we go. On board with Ben Dearman. Here comes Aspect trying to overtake Lewis and doing so successfully. Lewis with a better exit though, as Ben is gaining on CB towards the final chicane. Is looking to the outside line. CB doesn't want to use all of his battery. And Ben Dearman takes the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix. We're already moving on to lap 3 of 25. Inside line for Lewis. Outside line for Aspect. Into turn 1 we go. Aspect trying everything that he can to get through on the Mercedes. No move available for him. Error comes into the pit lane, we assume, because of damage. As again, more penalties being picked up. Sander currently in 5th place, trying to get onto the back of his teammate Aspect, who's just gone into the side of Lewis. Lewis are going to get a much better exit because of that. CB in 2nd place. Ben Dearman is your leader and is trying to drop CB out of the overtake boost. Through the hairpin we go. It's the 2 McLarens from Lewis and Aspect. We know Ben Dearman incredibly quick. RLO, I see you saying my name. I hope everything is alright. As CB into the final chicane we go. Keeps it out of the wall of champions. Look at the exit that Lewis has got off of the final chicane. Just doesn't have the battery to try and fight the McLaren. Looking for the outside line. Has gone very deep. He's going to lose the position to Aspect. Might lose the position to Sander as well. Sander looking around the outside line, and Lewis does. The mistake costs him 2 positions to 2 Red Bulls. Aspect now gets up into 2nd place ahead of CB as well. CB going to look to try and fight this one back, but doesn't have the overtake boost to do it. Aspect now up into 2nd. The gap 1.8 seconds between Ben Dearman and Aspect. We know Aspect very quick. And CB is going to look to try and fight this again into the hairpin. CB not able to get round the outside, but has got a good exit off of the hairpin and will chase down the Red Bull driver towards the final chicane we go. We've got yellow flags flying. That is for Gamer, who is in the barriers and manually retires from the race. Sander in 3rd, CB in 4th then. It's a double Red Bull podium at the moment. McLaren in 1st and 4th. Lewis down to 5th after making that mistake, has been struggling with the tyres. We've got Jamero in 6th. Prancing Horse running in 7th with Kian in 8th. It's Alcada in 9th. This is a big scrap unfolding here between Little and Alcada. VB in the background as well as through the chicane we go. Little does get the position on Alcada. Now look at VB in the background using the overtake boost as Ben Dearman now picks up a 3-second penalty. And how costly could that be in his fight with Aspect for the win in this Grand Prix? We're about to be 6 laps into this race, but that could be very, very costly, as Alcada is now passed by VB. Both of these guys not having any battery whatsoever. Alcada down the inside at the hairpin. Little bit of ghosting, net code bug, lag, whatever you want to call it, going on. Alcada does get ahead of the Williams car though. The Williams is pulling to the inside of the final chicane. Alcada runs it a little bit deeper and is able to stay in 10th place. These two putting on a very good fight for us. The battle for the final points position as Lewis now picks up a 3-second penalty, as does Aviation. There is your penalty screen. We know Canada, very difficult for penalties. And everyone but 2 drivers, those being Aspect and CB, with penalties already. And we're only on lap 6 of 25. It's Ben Dearman that is your leader then, by 2 seconds to Aspect, who's running in 2nd place at the moment. Sander in 3rd with CB running in 4th place. Lewis is in 5th, a bit behind that. CB trying to keep tabs with Sander as the battles continue on then. On to lap 7. Ben Dearman, the man that is leading this race, got the lead pretty early on. Got a very good start, did the McLaren driver. And is now your leader. Aspect running in 2nd with Sander in 3rd. Closest battle on track at the moment is VB between Alcada. This is the battle for 9th place now as Jamero has made his way into the pit lane. Tyre wear around Canada, normally not too much of a problem, but normally not good, shall we say. It's a bit in the middle. Error is catching up to V1 Aviation, as that is Error taking the Sebastian Vettel line through the 2nd chicane. Definitely not the line you would want to take, as Aspect is now beginning to reel Ben Dearman in. And is Aspect able to try and get on the back of Ben and create a fight? Sander pulling away from CB and getting a little bit closer to his teammate Aspect as well, as Kian picks up another penalty. Kian currently running in 7th place for Cadillac. He's behind Prancing Horse, who is now just picked up another penalty. You can see Kian about a second off of Prancing Horse. The gap out in front then is coming down 1.3 seconds and decreasing between Aspect and Ben Dearman. The Red Bull driver is reeling the McLaren in as we get towards the halfway point of this race. And it is scary when you are in the lead of a Grand Prix and you're not really sure how the other person is gaining time on you. You just kind of have to sit there and pray that their time gain stops. The gap is fluctuating though. It's not sitting pretty at 1.3 seconds. It is going up a little bit. Sander picks up another penalty, as does Alcada. Is Aspect going round into the wall? I think he may have touched the wall on the exit. And Aspect now falls to fourth as we've got a virtual safety car deployed. And Alcada is out of the race. We are lucky that is not a full safety car. Aspect now 3.2 seconds off a CB. It just looked like he came off the chicane with a little bit too much speed. And Aspect, the rear tyre is just not holding on. CB, the only man in the top four that is going to stay out. Alcada just clip the incident and send it into a ticket. That's all I can say. I wouldn't try and argue with him in general chat or anything like that. As we go back to green flag racing then. Aspect emerges in 5th place. Prancing Horse also did not pit. CB maybe hoping for a full safety car or a red flag or something. Ben Dearman in 2nd place is your net race leader after the pit stops. We'll have a look at the tyre situation. CB did start on the hard compound tyres, so it's no wonder he stayed out as Aspect now gets a 3-second time penalty. Aspect chasing down Prancing Horse. Prancing Horse doesn't have too much battery and is going to save his battery. Aspect is deploying a hell of a lot of battery. Aspect not able to get through on Prancing Horse at the moment, but so much quicker off the final chicane. And Prancing Horse without even a chance to try and fight it. Aspect now up to 4th then, and will try and chase down his teammate Sander as Lewis gets through on Prancing Horse as well. Jamero gets a 10-second penalty for corner cutting. What is Jamero doing? Just driving himself into the barriers, it would seem. Now picks up another 3-second time penalty. And there is a little bit of front wing on that car, but most certainly not much. As Jamero, I assume, will be into the pit lane at the end of this lap to retire the car, because nobody wants to try and finish races around here if you pick up a little bit of damage. Aspect gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting at the final chicane. We'll have a look at the penalty situation as well. Everyone in this race with a penalty besides CB. As YT Litterly is trying to get past TTV Kian. Jamero is coming into the pit lane to retire. As YT Litterly then, is he able to get through on Kian? They've got the exact same penalties. So this is a battle for position. Kian using a lot of battery to defend thin air. And that is only going to allow Litterly to try and get through when he decides to use the battery, which is now. Kian will deploy everything he's got to try and stay ahead. Kian does stay ahead of the Audi driver, but the Audi with such bountiful battery, Kian is going to send it back up the inside of the hairpin. Literally going to try and fight this back. Kian using his battery, as is Literally. Kian looking quicker in a straight line as they now come towards the final chicane. Who's going to win out this fight? Inside line for Kian, outside line for Literally. Literally forced over the sausage curbs and has to back out of the overtake for at least the time being. Kian running in 7th, then Literally running in 8th. As Ben Dearman is gaining very quickly on his teammate CB. The only advantage that CB has got is that he doesn't have any sort of penalty in this race. But I don't think that's going to be helping him too much when he's still got to make a pit stop. We'll need to pray for some sort of virtual or full safety car. CB going defensive. Ben with excess battery as well. And Ben Dearman does move through back into the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix. Stander with the fastest lap, and Aspect, we'll be seeing you later, mate, because that is an intentional crash and it has brought out the full safety car. Kian gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Lap 14 of 25 then. Sander is your leader in this race then. Ben Dearman comes in for another pit stop. CB comes in for his stop. Lewis in the pits. We've got Prancing Horse in the pits. TTV Kian. I believe we'll be in for a pit stop as well. The same with Literally, VB and Error. We're on lap 15 of 25 of this race then. We're under the safety car after Aspect intentionally crashed. Quite simply just said, boring race. That is his excuse. It's Sander that is your leader. I must say, CB has got a very good chance now. The only man in this race without a penalty is right behind Dearman and Sander. Sander on 5-lap-old hard compound tyres too. Ben Dearman on fresh mediums. Lewis on fresh mediums. Prancing Horse, Literally, and Kian on fresh softs. VB Longneck on 4-lap-old hard compound tyres. Sander is your leader then. Ben Dearman in second with CB in third. The safety car will be in this lap then. I can assure you, whoever's just commented that aspect will be getting some form of punishment for that intentional crash. As Sander will get this race resumed then on lap 17 of 25. And he is going to have a real job of trying to defend this from the two McLarens behind him on medium tyres. You've also got Lewis on the medium compound tyres as well. Sander is your leader then. Will go on board with Ben Dearman as he tries to chase down the rear wing of the Red Bull. Where's the first place? The McLaren can try and get past. Looks towards the inside. No way of getting through at that moment. Dark Ben 10 comms and race saying aspect known for being dirty. I'm not surprised, to be honest. It's always the guys that think they're quick that are the dirty ones. I know that for a fact. As Lewis is gaining on CB towards the hairpin. CB forced a little bit defensive. As Sander is still your leader, but look at Ben Dearman gaining on the Red Bull car as we make our way towards the final chicane. Which way is Ben Dearman going to go? He's not close enough to make a move. And Sander is still your leader, picking up another penalty. Is Sander. Now here comes Lewis, trying to overtake CB. This is not what CB needs in this race. The McLaren manages to stay ahead. And at this moment, if CB can stick within, what are the penalties? 3 seconds of Ben Dearman and 9 seconds of Sander, CB will be winning this race. It all comes down to the penalties as Dearman sends it on Sander. Sander onto the grass and Ben Dearman barges his way through. CB manages to get through on Sander as well. Lewis also going to get through on Sander too. Sander much deeper on the brakes. Goes off the road trying to overtake him. And the Mercedes does get through into third place. Carnage ensuing as Sander now back down the inside at the hairpin. Sander trying to rescue his race. This is a battle for position. They both got 9 seconds as they wheel lock and into the barriers they go. Sander will get the position because of it. Lewis down to 4th place. I don't think there was any damage dealt to the front wing of either car. No, Sander has picked up some front wing damage on the left-hand side. And Sander now going very, very slowly. And that is Sander's race well and truly over with. CB needs to stick within 3 seconds of Ben Dearman if he wants to win this race. But Ben Dearman looking very, very quick. We've got YT Literally and Error fighting away as well. This is the battle for 7th place. As Sander has got going again, albeit very slowly. YT Literally then trying to fight away with the Ferrari of Error. Thank you very much, Jarman, for the kind words. I do appreciate you tuning in. Looking forward to seeing you in your next race. You've definitely provided me with some good action to commentate. Sander saying nice moves from them. Great job. Didn't learn anything from last night. Stander comes into the pit lane and retires from the race. Ben Dearman does now have the 3-second gap to CB to be winning this race. Lewis trying to get second place on the road, but with a 12-second penalty, I highly doubt he's going to finish higher than third. He's lucky that everyone behind him has got such penalties as well. Is into the hairpin we go. Closest battle on track is still YT Literally versus Error. We've got Prancing Horse trying to gain on TCV Kian. Kian will be winning that fight on penalties anyway. Prancing Horse with 3 more seconds of penalties than Kian. Error running in 7th with Literally in 8th place. As Ben Dearman begins lap 21, Lewis is trying to challenge CB. VB now picks up another 3 seconds in penalties. It's 12 seconds for him. Error now with 19 seconds in penalties. Literally just falling off the back of him, so we'll stick with Prancing Horse then, who is chasing after TTV Kian. Huff saying, love the effort you put into comms, even for a social race. Keep it up, bud. Thank you very much, Huff. I do appreciate that. Always trying to make the races seem as interesting as possible and captivate your interest. Really do hope you are enjoying the race and very glad that you're enjoying the commentary. I do appreciate the compliment. Thank you. CB then, now 4.5 seconds behind Ben Dearman. What is not helping him is the fact he's got a Mercedes roaring in the background behind him. And the Mercedes is gaining towards the final chicane. So much overspeed. Had the silver arrow. And Lewis does move through into second place on the road. Has ran out of battery. CB will gain towards turn 1. But CB is now down to third on track. Jarmin saying it's hard to race with an extra gear stick because of the excitement you give me listening to you. I'm very glad I can do that, Jarmin. That is what I try and do. It's not, you know, just for the audience, the commentary. It's also for the drivers that listen in live, that want to go back and watch their overtakes after the race and all that sort of thing. You know, I'm just a cog in the wheel. I'm just trying to make the sessions as interesting as possible, as Literally has been disqualified for getting too many penalties. And we have seen a few of those disqualifications in recent races in social races. As CB chases down Lewis once again. Lewis has ran out of battery. CB deciding to save the battery, at least for the time being. This is your closest fight on the track at the moment. We're on lap 23 of 25 here in Canada. It's Ben Dearman that is your leader by about 5 seconds now. TTV Kian right behind VB. And this is the battle for 4th place on the road. Prancing Horse and Error, the 2 Ferraris, battling away as well. Prancing Horse with less time penalty, 4 seconds to be exact, more for Error. So as long as Prancing Horse can stick within that 4 seconds and not pick himself up any more penalties, he will be finishing in 6th place. Kian still trying to gain on VB. As into the chicane we go. No opportunity for the Cadillac to get through at the moment. You can see VB being a lot smarter with his battery than Kian. Kian doesn't have much battery to deploy, and that is going to keep VB ahead, at least for the time being. CB still running right behind Lewis, as we are now on the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. And it's Ben Dearman that is your leader. The McLaren driver has really looked unstoppable at the moment. And Ben Dearman, we know how quick he can be. In Formula One machinery is definitely one of the quicker drivers in MOR. And definitely a man to be watched in the future. As he makes his way towards the final chicane for the penultimate time. And Ben Dearman then starts the final lap of this race. Ben Dearman is your leader. Lewis and CB scrapping away into turn 1. CB does get round the outside and wants to make this a McLaren 1-2 on the road. Kian picks up another 3 seconds. And that is going to harm him in his fight with VB, although VB conserving the battery much better as there is a little bit of contact between Lewis and CB. CB gains a little bit away from the Mercedes man. And that is ultimately going to keep CB in second place. Ben Dearman, though, has controlled this race from the very start. Didn't have the qualifying he wanted, but immediately got through into the lead at the first available opportunity. Pulled out the gap when he needed to, played the strategy well, and it's Ben Dearman that weaves his way to the line to win the Canadian Grand Prix. CB will come home to make it a McLaren 1-2 on track and after penalties. Lewis will finish in third place for Mercedes. It's VB that will come home in fourth. TTV Kian will finish in fifth. It will be Error that finishes in sixth place on the road. But no, Prancing Horse, he's weaving around, which is going to cost him sixth place. Kian gets disqualified out of the final corner for receiving too many penalties. So what would have been fifth now turns to nothing. Prancing Horse crosses the line in sixth place. That is your Canadian Grand Prix over, ladies and gentlemen. It is Ben Dearman that wins here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in with me this afternoon to the 2 p.m. social race. We'll be back in about an hour and 15 minutes for the 4 p.m. social race. So make sure you do join us then. My name's been Jack. I've been your commentator. A pleasure to bring you the action as always. I'll see you when I see you. Until then, take care and ta-da.